Dentro de la casa cogía el agua así mismo.
The water, she says that the water was running just like this, but inside of her house. But firefighters couldn't reach them for 7 hours. What was it like when the firefighters arrived? ¿Cómo sintieron cuando los bomberos llegaron?
Oh, felicidad, que estamos a salvo.
Felicidad, you were happy, you were relieved.
Happy.
Small communities underwater.
Hey, Michael, we're still in one of the busiest times of hurricane season, and the Atlantic Ocean is acting like it. Now, a Category 3, Fiona is our first major hurricane of the season. Major means Category 3, 4, or 5. You can see it just passing close to Grand Turk Island. It's going to take that north-northwest turn into the Atlantic. As it's a Cat 4, thankfully, most of the time is spent out over the ocean, fish storm as we call it. Then it gets a little too close for comfort for Bermuda. We will see rip currents and high surf along the East Coast, all the way from New England down to Miami. But look, as close as it gets, it's on that right side, the dirtier side. More wind, more waves, more push of water. The cold front is going to be carrying that thing away. And Mary, we're watching 2 other storms, one of which looks like it could try to get into the Gulf next week. Another, they could be Gaston and Hermine by the end of today.
Okay, Ginger, thank you. Now to the final.
That's totally Target.
Get ready for a nice Tuesday. Right now, 67 degrees in Central Park, 65 in Islip this afternoon. A high. But first, back to Ginger.
Thank you, and good morning to you. You know, one of the hottest, if not the hottest summers on record for many people in Texas. But look at Houston. They started the summer hot, and they will start fall 10 degrees above average tomorrow because that officially begins. A quick look at the rest of that heat dome because it is unseasonably hot right in the middle there. It'll feel like 104 in Memphis. They've been steamy all summer. Kansas City even will feel like 101. That's the big picture. Let's get a check now a little closer to home.
Good morning, Michael. We are in Toa Baja. It's a town not too far away from San Juan, and you can see what it looks like 2 days after Hurricane Fiona made landfall here. You've got this creek behind me. It is rushing. You see what this...
Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you, Michael. We now have Fiona as the first major hurricane of the season, meaning Cat 3 or higher. It is just east of the Turks and Caicos, and it is strengthening. In the next 24 to 48 hours, we anticipate this will become a Category 4. Thank goodness it is staying mostly in the ocean with the impacts there. It'll brush a little too close for comfort to Bermuda. We will see impacts along the East Coast, especially if you're planning on getting in the water, because the high surf and the rip currents will be the only thing we see. But if you're in Bermuda or planning to be there, there's the impacts there. Thursday night, it looks like it could lash it with those outer bands. We'll keep tracking it. Bermuda's so small, George, that the impact's there. But I have to mention, there's another one that's a 40% chance. The model's trying to take that into the Gulf by late next week. We'll be watching.
I know you will be. Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. Now to the growing battle over immigration. A criminal investigation has been launched into the Javits Center here in New York.
Hey, good morning to you. We are celebrating New York City Climate Week because you can see the buildings behind me, the Hudson River. We're in Manhattan at a 1-acre rooftop farm. And Brooklyn Grange farmer Orion is helping me out. We're actually pulling some of the produce here. They make 40,000 pounds of produce that they use here in the Javits Center. I just pulled some carrots. How great is that? So we could take it right into the kitchen and use it at one of the conventions today. They've got 35 species of birds up here, almost 1 million honeybees, so much more that we can celebrate. But this is the way to do a rooftop in a city. That's the big picture. Let's get a check down a little closer to home.
And it's going to be a beautiful Tuesday right now, 68 degrees.
We need to get all the critical minerals like cobalt and lithium. And can we do it here at home? Take a look. For an entire century, we have really known only one way.
As the search spreads, oil must cost more.
Coal, oil, and gas have heated our homes, powered industries, and fueled our vehicles. They gave us freedom, but that freedom came at a cost. Fossil fuels, while propelling us forward, now we know they actually pushed us back.
It's a major investment in clean energy cars.
So as we come to the fork in the road that is our new energy future, the question really becomes, can we truly electrify our world without screwing it all up? I will take you to the first cobalt mine in America in more than 30 years, see how they're doing it differently, how they're using technology. And then everybody says, well, what are we going to do with all those batteries? How will we recycle them? Good thing is, everything inside, super valuable. So we will show you the cutting edge of recycling lithium batteries. And then we're going to go to the new frontier, the most controversial part of the special, talk about deep sea mining. There's this area in the Pacific Ocean. It is highly contested, but down about 15,000 feet, the whole ocean floor is covered with these little kind of tangerine-sized rocks. And inside, cobalt, nickel, manganese, copper. A lot of the things we need to make those batteries. But what will we throw off if we start sucking those up to the top? That special airs tonight, streaming on Hulu and ABC News Live, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I really hope you'll join us. So much to learn. And this really is our energy future, not just for electric vehicles, but the phone, the laptop, any battery you use. Really, it's going to affect you. That's the big picture. Let's get a check now, a little closer to home.
It's going to be a beautiful Tuesday right now, 68 degrees.
Knows here where the storm is headed now. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you, Robin. We're watching Fiona now out of the Caribbean, so they are breathing a sigh of relief as it moves north. That eye kind of tightening and wobbling a bit, but it is strengthening in the Atlantic. Good news, we've got a cold front for mainland U.S. that's going to keep it to the east. That is not great news for Bermuda, as a Category 4 storm by Friday morning could be passing by that island and on that bad side, the dirty side, where you could get those outer bands, if not the push of water and really heavy rains. Here, it will be fall-like behind that front, but fall means you've got hurricanes, and we've got more that we're watching. The one that is just north of South America here that has a 90% around it, it's a tropical wave. It'll go over Trinidad, Tobago, really close to South America there, and then watch it move as it gets into the Western Caribbean. By late next week, we could see impacts from the Gulf to Florida. We'll keep an eye on this one for you, Robin.
All right, Ginger, we're going to talk more about Fiona.
Go back to Ginger.
You know, Michael, so much emphasis has been on the Hurricane Fiona and the canes to come, and as well it should be, but there's a big story happening in the middle of the country, too. Record historic heat, like Spencer, Iowa. Their last time they hit something hotter than 101 this late in the season was 1925, but now they have hit the hottest latest. Omaha, Nebraska breaking records, dozen or more records broken just yesterday, and that heat dome is in place. It is behind that cold front we were talking about, so you're still seeing big heat as we have our last full day of summer, because fall officially begins tomorrow. Your local weather now in just 30 seconds.
What do you take it for?
Deep tropical moisture from remnants of something called Madeline in the Pacific, and then also from part of the Gulf moving up into the desert Southwest. So we have flood watches for all New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, parts of Colorado. You could see 1 to 2 inches falling really quickly. Coming up, we're kicking off 2 days of Lara's Fab Finds, Deals and Steals. This morning, you're going to see big bargains on pet products and so much more.
The passion.
That roll cloud kind of separated from the parent thunderstorm, but those storms will be peaking up in western Pennsylvania and New York. So Erie, Cleveland, Buffalo, be on the lookout this afternoon as that front approaches. The storms will start, and you could even see some severity in there. And look, by Friday morning, that's a high temperature at 64. That's the big picture. Let's get a check a little closer to home.
So enjoy the warm weather today. 65 degrees in Central Park.
Let's go to Ginger.
Sounds good. You both look comfortable out there, but by Friday morning, if you have segments outdoors, you're not going to be comfortable because of a front that did this. The Wisconsin here, some of the hail got up to baseball size, but Beaver Dam, you could see it falling all over. Green.
Sponsored by CarMax.
It's the 21st of September, but also it is
Hump Day.
Well, we almost made it to 9 o'clock.
More Americans choose ABC News, America's #1.
On Bermuda and the monster Category 4 storm. Ginger joined us now with more, including a potentially dangerous storm on the heels of Fiona. Good morning, Ginger.
'Tis the season, Michael, unfortunately. So Bermuda's next. In the next 12 to 24 hours, they're going to see the biggest impacts from this major hurricane as it passes just west of them. They've got a hurricane warning. Then the wind field expands, as all storms do as they head north. So Nova Scotia, I'm talking to you, by Saturday, big push of water and wind. Let's go ahead and check what's happening with 98L. That's what we call it. It's just a little invest right now. Tropical wave north of Venezuela. This 90% chance of it becoming our next named storm, Hermine, would be the name. It will travel through the Western Caribbean, should pass close to Cuba. What happens after that, by late next week, we've got a week here, the Gulf Coast needs to be on alert. Climatologically, it's the eastern Gulf Coast, but I would say anyone along there, really watch this closely as we go through the weekend. We will be all over it for you, Amy.
Oh, we know you will, Ginger. Thank you so much for that. And now to some breaking news overnight.
You know, records have been broken all over the South. Nashville had their latest 100-degree temperature, and we are going to have more heat all the way from Florida back to Texas. Let's get to your local weather now in just 30 seconds.
This first.
Let's talk Hurricane Fiona. The hurricane hunters have been getting data from there, giving us better and better ideas of what it's going to do to Bermuda. You can see the crisp eye right there on the edge. It's not as crisp on the satellite, but they do have a hurricane warning because the wind field will expand as this goes north. So Bermuda looking fine right now, but this is going to deteriorate in the next 12 hours and really going to feel the impacts by early tomorrow morning. You see the wind field there with the 74 plus, that's hurricane force just west of them. And then Nova Scotia and Halifax are going to get into this action by this weekend, so Saturday is going to be ugly there. Now, coming up here on GMA, Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, talking co-parenting with Kim Kardashian and his big brand battle. Also ahead, day 2 of our special Deals and Steals event, Lara's Fab Finds. Great prices on everything from accessories to beauty products, and we're going behind the scenes for a first look at the new season of Emily in Paris.
The Woman King.
Rising up. Now we're going to go to Ginger. Hey, Ginger.
Congrats to everyone, and we're celebrating the last couple hours of summer. Astronomically, fall begins tonight at 9:04 Eastern Time, and that is going to look like it by tomorrow morning. And 30s throughout much of the Northeast with a 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. Let's get a check a little closer to home.
That same front is sparking some showers across the area.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Let's head on over to Ginger.
We keep talking about Bermuda and Canada for the impacts from Fiona, but we will see the coast. We have a high rip current risk. Look at Myrtle Beach, one of the places that could see up to 10-foot waves as we see this thing pass. So the waves will get choppier. The rip currents will become more dangerous. The highest of them right there through the southeast. The waves, look at this. The high surf advisories all the way up the coast could go about 5 to 8 and some places up to 10 feet. That's the big picture. Let's get a check now a little closer to home.
So watching scattered showers this morning, and we'll continue to see rain throughout.
Sponsored by CarMax.
Good Morning America is sponsored by Claritin, symptom relief from indoor and outdoor allergens day after day.
How does it feel to hear your own voice saying that? Yeah, I'm just looking at you and you're like, oh boy. Hey, thank you all at home.
Hell is going to...
Next, in a new tropical depression. Good morning, Ginger.
Hey, good morning to you, Michael. Canada is not, I would say, in hurricane zone or hurricane alley, but they're going to get the next impacts from Fiona. They do get them, but wow, this one is going to pack quite the punch. Watch as Halifax is even in a hurricane warning. Of the winds up to 55 miles per hour in Maine. Let's look at tropical depression now down in the Caribbean because this has formed just northeast of Aruba. It is going to spend some time over the open ocean as we get into the weekend, but by Tuesday morning, it looks like it'll just look at the path. Don't say, okay, I'm in Fort Myers. Oh no. You have to look at the cone at this point because it is really wide. So everyone from Miami up to Tampa, Orlando needs to be on the lookout. I can tell you, there's a lot of fuel for this thing. The Western Caribbean has the warmest waters in the Atlantic Basin. They're 85 plus, right before Cuba, 90 plus. So this will have plenty of fuel as it approaches, again, next Wednesday. George.
Boy, that is a lot of red on that map. Okay, Ginger, thanks.
I'm looking at our audience, and the wind is blowing their hair. It is cold, right? We got that real fresh autumn for our first full day of fall. It feels like it. Westmore, Vermont, starting to look like it. But the temperatures behind that cold front that passed and the wind chills making for frost advisories and freeze warnings the next couple of nights. So from northern Michigan, Marquette, Escanaba, Houghton Lake there, Wausau, and then it'll move east. So here are the numbers. When you wake up tomorrow morning, it will feel like even 47 for Philadelphia, 51 for Newark. It'll feel like 40 in Albany. A lot of people will be getting close to that frost. Oof. All right, your local weather in just 30 seconds. I can't help it. Let's get a check a little closer to home.
She was supposed to be the one. I used to believe in the one.
Artificial flavors and sweeteners. Yes to more Pure Leaf favorites.
Hurricane Fiona inside. This is a sail drone. NOAA just started using these within the last year so that we can get observations, which really helps then us forecast. And we know this one's going to be strong as it approaches Canada. We're talking about a huge wind field. So from St. John's there back to Augusta, Maine, you could see big-time gusts. Coming up here, Shakira breaking her silence on her very public split and tax fraud case and how she's getting through what she calls her darkest hour. Plus, we're going on the campaign trail with a first look at Georgia's new docu-series, Power Trip. And country star Kelsey Ballerini here live performing from her brand new album. Get local news and weather, by the way. They're up next.
Hull of a boat upside down there, so they're sinking here, not just coming unmoored. The power is out in over half the island, and nobody's going out until this thing has gone to a lesser extent. As far as the show.
Top of this, Rob, you and the team out there stay safe, please. We're going to turn to Ginger now with where Fiona is headed next and this new tropical depression. Hey, Ginger.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about. So let's start with Canada being next, because Bermuda's done in the next couple of hours. But tomorrow, it is going to be so windy. As this storm turns extra tropical, it broadens its wind to 55. Halifax in a hurricane warning. Now let's dip down back into the Caribbean, where we anticipate a real tropical depression now to become a hurricane in the next couple of days. So through the weekend, it should travel up, go over western Cuba Tuesday morning, and it looks like Florida for midweek. Now, I want you to remember, when we're this far out, 5-6 days, you have to look at the huge cone. So anybody really from Miami and Key West, Tampa, even Orlando, I want you to keep a look at this. In the Caribbean, the Western Caribbean, it's the warmest in the entire Atlantic basin. So we have 85 to 90+ degree temperatures, George. That is a lot of fuel for this thing to pump up at the end of the weekend, beginning of next week.
It sure is. Okay, Ginger, thanks. We're in a single day. It's been so much fun to watch them grow, to see them do their jobs. And all of you can see it on Power Trip. It drops Sunday on Hulu. Ginger?
Thanks, George. Can't wait to watch. Now I have a question. How low can we go? Well, tomorrow morning's going to bottom out for the Northeast, at least for the next couple of days, because we will see temperatures moderate a bit as we get toward the end of the weekend, back into the 70s for highs, both New York City, Philadelphia, close in Boston. But another shot of cold air next week, and actually the cold front that does this is going to determine how far east that new storm goes. Let's get a check a little closer to home.
And the Jazzy Jumper, they've been out here jumping all morning long. But right now, we're going to talk to Tony Ville, who is the team's coach. Tony, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for bringing your team out. And what makes the sport of double dutch so special for you and your team?
I feel like double dutch. You are on when you are on, right? All right, you've got Miss Lauren here with you. You are a 6th grade, do I have this right? 6th grade freestyle specialist on the team. I can't wait to see you in action. So what have you learned from double dutch?
Well, what I learned is, but most importantly, I learned that blood doesn't make us family. My team is my family, and I love them so much.
Oh, wow, I love that.
Come on, she's going to put us in tears this morning.
Yeah. And now, Tony, outside of the physical benefits, what did kids learn from being a part of this team, you feel?
Being a part of double dutch, you learn how to persevere because it's different. You know, you're using different muscles you never learned. You learn how to be determined. You learn how to be, the best person you can be with double dutch is just the togetherness, everything. We've worked with each other. You're literally leaning on your teammates. So the sense of belonging, the sense of being needed, welcome. Who doesn't want that? Especially when a part of a team, you want to feel like you are absolutely necessary there. And that's what you get with double dutch.
I'm told I'm going to get some personal instruction here.
Whenever you're ready,
Let's
we got
go.
you.
Oh, y'all got room on the team for somebody else.
We got room
Give me that microphone. You're going to jump with it.
Reinforcements because I'm wearing the wrong shoes, but we're gonna start here. Where do I start?
In the middle.
Okay, come on.
You want to face me? And I just want you to hop like a bunny.
Okay.
1, 2, keep hopping.
Jumping in.
1, 2, here you go. Keep hopping.
Get in there, Ron. Get in there.
I guess that's all her feet can take.
Hey, I did that in high heels, America. I did that in high heels.
You're good, man. Safety is always first, but you did that.
Lauren, I'll tell you, after watching that, your job is safe.
Let me see you, Lauren, go. Let me see what you got.
Want to do your freestyle?
Let's show us.
Let's do a little freestyle.
It's okay.
Oh, she's going to already start. The ropes are turning.
1, 2.
Oh!
Jump right there. Don't worry about the rope.
Yes.
1, 2. Back. Kick.
Oh,
good job, baby girl.
Oh, the microphone got you.
Yeah, that definitely requires teamwork.
Yes.
That requires teamwork. Well, you know, we want to thank you all for being here. I mean, it really is a special treat for us to have you out here on this Friday morning. And they are going physical fitness, teamwork, family. That's what it's all about. Tony, Lauren, thank you all. Thank all of you. Thank you guys for being here this morning. And coming up, you know, Shark Tank star Mark Cuban is going to share his business secrets with busy parents. Brad, don't hurt yourself.
Come on, Brad, go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
At Stanley Steamer, we love homes, and we're here to help get yours cleaner and
Now to billionaire and Shark Tank star Mark Cuban. He's sharing his business secrets with busy moms, helping them translate some of their skills into startup success. And our GMA Lifestyle contributor Lori Bergamatto here with us. More on a resource that can help everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, Ginger. That's right. The pandemic forced a disproportionate amount.
Thank you, Zeeing. Let's go to Ginger.
And George, for anyone looking for a weekend activity, maybe you haven't made your plans yet, you can dive back into the mysterious world of Pandora. The re-release of James Cameron's 2009 original Avatar is hitting theaters today, again, for a limited time only. And for all you Avatar fanatics out there, this is just the perfect warm-up for the film's highly anticipated sequel, Avatar: The Way of Water. It splashes into theaters December 16th. Let's go ahead and get a check now a little closer to home.
It's a chilly Friday morning, currently 51 degrees in Central Park. This afternoon, a high of only 63, still gusty.
What your strengths are and what skill set you have that might set you apart in the marketplace. Once you've identified that, focus on how you can take that and level it up. So, you want to become good at it first and then become great at it. Also, Ginger, he said, use your friends and other moms you're close to as your support network. Pitch and sell your idea to them first, and then get feedback from them. Let them help you guide, your concepts, your strategies, and really navigate that. Because, we're moms. We'll tell you exactly what we like and what we don't.
That's right. And we know what works and what doesn't.
Exactly.
And I will say, moms have great ideas, and we get stuff done.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much. Coming up here, Kelsey Ballerini performing live off her brand new album. GMA's back to business.
And George, you have a very busy week. You got Power Trip is coming up and this week.
Yeah, they're both dropping on Sunday morning this week, and we're going to introduce some of the embeds Sunday morning, and then Power Trip drops on Hulu later that day.
You know what? You got to really pick up your work schedule. You're getting very lazy, George.
I'm just trying to catch up with you, Michael. Have a great weekend.
Gotta go.